Hi, my name is Annette, and what you will find out from effortless parenting will change your parenting forever, because we all deserve calmer homes. Today I would like to talk about having the courage to be imperfect when it comes to self-care as a parent. And what happened is that we are at the end of a 2-week holiday here in Ireland, a school holiday, where my children were at home. And even though I took last week off and gave myself a break, I tried to go back and do some work this week, and it was almost impossible. And while I was still an employee, I was led to believe that we should be able to do it all, to be a parent and work and even like throw the household on top of it. And I now have come to understand that anybody who believes that is just not really living in this reality. It is not possible, is what I'm trying to say, to multitask all these things. And we came home from a funeral last night, and I went into our kitchen and I boiled the kettle, and I kind of leaned against the counter, and when I looked across me, I saw an empty bottle that was left there on the kitchen island, and I just didn't have it in me to tidy up one more thing that somebody had left standing there and didn't tidy it away. So while my children are pretty good overall in doing the jobs that they have, or the family service as we renamed it a few years ago, I just believe that our job as a parent quadruples when our children are home with us. And what I learned in this parenting approach a few years ago really served me well, and that's what I would like to share as a tip for you today. So instead of writing all these endless to-do lists, and mine just kept on growing and growing and growing, and I just looked at everything that I didn't get done in a day, I changed it around. And what I started doing is I made a what I got done list. So that's what I did then, is I went through my day, and I know this sounds exaggerated, but I just wanted to see for myself how much I got done. And instead of writing down, I put on a wash, I wrote down everything. So all the steps of that, as if you were writing like a process document, what it involves. So I wrote down what it involves. So I called it all, I numbered it, and I started with, I stripped down the bed, I brought it downstairs to the utility, I put on a wash, I put in the washing powder and the fabric softener, I set the dial to whatever it needs to be on the washing machine. Did I already say I put in the bed sheets, and then when it was over I took them out, and then I hung them up on the line, and when they were dry I took them down and I folded them and I put them away. And so when you list them out, all these individual steps, you know, it's actually a lot of work that is involved. And I stopped here today at this beautiful tree. I don't know if you can see it, and it has all these little blossoms, and I think it would take about 4 of these kind of trees to represent the work that we do as parents. And even like calling out all these little steps is already kind of this section down here of this little tree and the numerous blossoms on it. So what I then recommend you do, and this is if you're up for this experiment, is you write it all out on a sheet of paper and you cut it up, all these single steps, and you put them in a bowl, and you ask your children if they're willing to help you with some of all the things that you're getting done in a day. And then what you can say is, who would help me get some of these steps done? And And you can explain that if you're being helped, you then have more time to spend with them, you know, and play or do whatever they ask you to do with them. Or you could make a tiny little slot for yourself and have some screen-free self-care time and do, you know, to restore the battery a little bit. If you're in any way controlling like me, you know, I'm doing daily work on surrendering and giving up some control. And the first few years, and especially when my children were small, you know, I wanted to do it all myself because it's so much faster. And what I learned over the years is, and that's a question to you, how are our children ever going to learn unless we give them some you know, some room to train these skills? So, and what amazed me over the years, and my eldest is now 11, is when they get a chance to do these things, how fast they do them. So one of her jobs would be to fold tea towels, you know, and we have a big box of them, and the speed at how fast she folds these tea towels, I'm always in awe. And I'm just like, when I see the final product, you know, that you mightn't see with the very young ones, with the 3-year-old who wants to hold the Hoover, you know, just let them so that they do gain some experience. Because in the long run, and we always look at what's the long term with this parenting approach, it will really be worth it. So let me know in the comments below how you get on, and maybe share some tips and tricks that you have come across, you know, with how this works with all that needs to get done in our homes. So I'd love to hear from you. And finally, I've got a really exciting announcement, which is that after over 2 years, I will be facilitating in-person parenting courses again in my home starting next month, and I would love to meet you there. So if you are interested, just click the first link in that description box below, and if you have questions, go to my contact section on my website effortlessparenting.ie, and we can have a free call as well where I can answer your questions that you may have before you sign up. So thank you very much for listening, and enjoy creating calmer homes.